Bitcoin looks like it is about to bottom. What we can see is that Bitcoin is still trading around this range, guys. It is exactly following the plan from last week, in which I told you guys that we have a beautiful range on Bitcoin with 4 pivots. Pivot number 1, pivot number 2, pivot number 3, and pivot number 4, providing us with a beautiful range. I told you guys that after this deviation above the mid-range, technically speaking, we should always be getting a move towards the range low liquidity pool, which is indeed what we got. Now I have a very clear plan for both Bitcoin and Ethereum to trade them both. Because what we can see is that on a higher time frame, Bitcoin is also still trading inside of this bigger range. When I apply the quarterly levels over here, right, we can see that we have this quarterly level, the 0.75 pip level, exactly aligning with indeed this breaker block. This breaker block remains my main area of interest. Now I will exactly be explaining to you guys why that's the case. Because right over here, beneath this low, is where we still have some liquidity resting, as you can see. There's still stop losses resting of the people that have been longing this move towards the upside, okay? Or they have been longing this consolidation phase and they have put their stop loss either beneath this low, which is in my opinion the most obvious low, so not really the low that most people would have used. And the other people, the most people in my opinion, would have put their stop over here. Now what I would like to see is that the people that think that this is the reclaim that we are looking at and this is the deviation and sweep that we have been looking at, and because of that they are longing right over here the price of Bitcoin during the weekend with their stop loss beneath the local low, targeting the mid-range liquidity pool and the range high liquidity pool. I want these people to get wrecked and I want those stops to get taken out as well, which means that I want one more push lower on Bitcoin. Does that mean that we cannot continue higher from here? Obviously we can continue higher from here, guys, but as I've told you guys, as traders it is our job to only trade the highest probability trades possible. And in my opinion, if we get this push towards the downside and we get another local liquidity sweep and higher time frame liquidity sweep into this high probability breaker block, I think this is a high probability long position. We have a very clean invalidation, which is this low over here. Now you might be wondering, Guru, how do you find this invalidation? I called myself Guru. I know that that's not my name anymore. That's a little mistake from my side, obviously, because right now we have rebranded to Trading JIP. But JIP, why is this the invalidation? Because when we look at a higher time frame range for Bitcoin, we can see some beautiful price action in which we have a very clean range low with a range pivot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then number 6. But the 6th pivot has been formed in a very beautiful way. Why? Because we first saw a front run over here of the range low level, then we saw a push up, this push up in towards that supply that is now going to turn into demand, hopefully. Put in a fake break of structure over here. That fake break of structure, as we know, engineers liquidity over here. And we know that I've taught you guys that these obvious range levels, such as the range low, the mid-range, and the range high, if you want to play the perfect retest of those range levels, we can only play those perfect retests if there is a valid inducement above the range level or below the range level when we want to short, obviously. Now, why is that the case? Because you have to realize that these obvious and perfect range levels, if everyone is able to identify them, and everyone is able to identify these perfect retests, because they are quite obvious, and everyone is able to play the levels and profit from the bounce of those levels, right? Everyone will be able to make money. Now you know that if there's someone making money inside of a market, there always has to be someone losing the equal amount of money as well. Because otherwise, how is the person, the individual that made money gonna get paid? Okay, you always have to keep in mind, if there's someone making money, there's also someone losing money. It's never the case where the majority of the market are all gonna make money, which is why, in my opinion, we can only play these perfect retests if we have a valid inducement above the level, as we can see over here. Then we sweep that inducement into that range level, find support, and we push up and give us a valid break of structure over here, which gives ourselves a very clean invalidation over here for the test of the breaker block targeting the range high liquidity pool. Which means that if you're going to look for a long position over here with your stop loss beneath this local low and target the range high liquidity pool, you're going to get offered an RR of 2.25. Now let's say you get a push down, then we push up, we break structure, we reclaim this range low, get tighten your invalidation, and you can add another long position up on the higher low over here with that new invalidation to compound profits along the way up. This is the plan for Bitcoin, but the plan for Ethereum, in my opinion, is even more clear and even more high probability, and also already playing out on the chart. Because what we can see over here on Ethereum is that Ethereum has already taken out high time frame sales and liquidity, and it has really been pushing and mitigating this huge liquidity pool over here, as we can see. And what I really like about this local structure over here on Ethereum, when we analyze it, is that over here we already formed a lower low, right? And then afterwards we sweep this lower low, we push down, and we are currently, as we speak, breaking through this significant high over here. Why is this a significant high? Because this high over here brings us to a lower low compared to this low that brought us to this high, and this was already a lower low, making this a significant high to break, which means that we are looking at a potential long trigger for the Ethereum price. Okay, also Ethereum, what I really like about the Ethereum price is that it is slightly front run this breaker block over here. Once again, why do I like the fact that it has slightly front run this breaker block? Because if the majority of the market is able to identify this high probability breaker block, and the majority of the market is going to blindly limit long the top of this breaker block, put their stop loss beneath that breaker block and target high levels, everyone will be able to make money. Now by front running it, not the majority, but only the smart people have been able to get in. Now, what we are potentially looking at on Ethereum is a breakout structure, is a market structure flip on the 4-hourly time frame, and I really like the way that we are doing that. And also on the lower time frame, we can identify this obviously as a range in which we can say, okay, we have a range 1 pivot, 2 and range 3 over here, pivot number 3 with a red candle, the bottom of the red candle. Deviation of the range low should, technically speaking, leading towards a move towards a range high liquidity pool. Now, what I'm expecting for Ethereum compared to Bitcoin is some kind of a SMT divergence. What do I mean by that? I just told you guys that I'm expecting Bitcoin to make one more lower low over here. At the same time, I'm expecting Ethereum, right, to form a higher low over here. Take out the sell side, form a higher low, push it towards the upside. This is what we call an SMT divergence. When Bitcoin is forming a higher low or a lower low, and Ethereum is doing the exact opposite. So for example, when Bitcoin is forming a lower low, Ethereum forms a higher low. We called it an SMT divergence. And an SMT divergence, a smart money technique divergence, is a decent indication for a potential bottom and a potential top. Now, in confluence with all of the liquidity that we have been mitigating, in confluence with the range levels that we have been deviating from, I think that this is a high probability of playing out on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. So, like I said, what I'm expecting on Ethereum is to get a push down, take out the sell side, start looking for longs when we take that sell side inside of the discounted area, stop beneath the local low, and what are we doing? We're going to target new all-time highs for Ethereum, which is around $4,900. This offers a beautiful RR of 12.8, and I think this has a high probability of succeeding. Right now it's Sunday. I'm recording this video 1 hour before I'm leaving to Ibiza, right? Sunday morning, 7:30. This is the grind. This is what I'm doing every single day. Also on Ibiza, I'm going to work for 2 to 3 hours every single day, but I'm going to wait with inserting this limit order on Ethereum until it's like Monday afternoon. I always enter my first trades around the New York session on Monday. I refuse to enter trades during the weekend or during the weekly transition period, which takes all the way up around London session. I'm going to wait with this setup, but I think it's a beautiful one. And I'm definitely going to engage with a long position around the New York Open if the price doesn't change.